We're doing some multiplication today.
It was a veritable centipede full of legs.
Strike, 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 strike. Oh, strike.
Amazing Technicolor Shit Show.
Hello and welcome. This is Amazing Technicolor Shit Show, where we explore the fumbles and follies from all levels of live theater. My name is Elle.
And I'm Trev.
And we lied to you last week. We told a little fibberino. We said we'd be back in our studio today. Lie detector test reveals that was, in fact, a lie. Things got a little crazy. Stuff snuck up on us. We have no excuses.
Elle led a 2-hour dance camp today.
Yes.
So
After work.
After work.
Immediately after work.
And before going to a different rehearsal.
And then I went to a vocal rehearsal after that.
Yes.
So
We got a lot going on.
yes. And Trev had work and also grouted a shower today.
I grouted.
And then went to a different theater meeting. So today you're going to be telling us about a strike of sorts, right?
Yes. So I've been wanting to talk about Florence Ziegfeld Jr. for a long time. And we're talking about Ziegfeld today.
Yeah.
It's happening. So the reason that I haven't in the past is that, honestly, the story of Ziegfeld's Follies is not like all that interesting, and I just want it to be really interesting. But
you want there to be an angle, but there's just not an angle.
I want there to be something silly and goofy, but
Yeah.
really, it's just that there was a big annual review show, and there's a bunch of comedy and dance and tableau and everything in it, and it went on for a long time and got really popular, and that's the story.
There's a lot of like iconic dance moves that sort of come from the Ziegfeld Follies.
Sure, yeah.
The Ziegfeld Circle is one of them. If you've ever done that thing where you're all holding like big fans or like a big prop, and you all walk around in a big circle, and the people in the front get low and the people in the back get high.
Everybody in the back gets high. There's also the Ziegfeld triangle, which is when you make a triangle with your hands. Anyway,
I was picturing like the Bermuda Triangle. Like the Ziegfeld Triangle is where you get like lost in the abyss.
where all of the actors go to disappear.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Florence Ziegfeld. He was like well known as a good boss.
Oh, yeah.
He treated his cast well, and he paid them, really well. And everyone's like, you want to work for Florence Ziegfeld Jr. And our story today challenges that notion.
Oh, whether people did or did not want to work for him. You might not have anything about this, but wasn't he didn't he have like a lot of ladies who were into him?
Probably.
I might be thinking of someone unrelated, but
I think you can assume. I mean, he was a very rich man.
Yeah.
He was a very rich Broadway producer in the early 1900s.
And he had a bunch of showgirls fawning all over him. So
My gosh.
Yeah.
Either fawning over him or pretending to fawn over him.
Oh, that also could be the case.
Places.
Thank you, places.
So if you don't know the Follies, you've certainly still seen their effects on pop culture. Inspired by the Folie Bergère in Paris, the Chicago-born Florence Ziegfeld Jr. started his own Follies in 1907 as a Broadway spectacle at the Jardin de Paris Theater in New York. I have to say French things like they're really dramatic.
You have to say I'm like Lumiere.
In France, though, this kind of show was a lot more risque, a lot more scantily clad. But Ziegfeld gave it, quote, an American spin with polish and respectability and a focus on, another quote, glorifying the American girl.
Isn't everything in America about the American dream?
The
American
American girl.
Gosh. We can't just have nudity like the Europeans. We have to...
We got to be all about loving Elvis.
Yeah.
And
she loves Jesus and her boyfriend too.
And her mom and dad.
Crazy about her mama. No, what is it? Loves her mama.
Loves her mama and
Crazy
Elvis.
about Elvis. That's it.
She's a good girl. With her arms out in the cornfield.
That's a scarecrow you're thinking of, Trev.
Oh, damn it. But these Ziegfeld girls, as they would come to be called, were all about kick lines and sparkly dresses and all of that, all that good, glamorous stuff. But they were a little bit more respectable by the American kind of puritanical standards.
Yep.
The goal was for married couples to enjoy going to the shows together rather than just a bunch of men
I see.
Being all ogly.
Being too lascivious. I see. All right.
Yeah. So for the first year, this was a new project, and Ziegfeld actually left his name off of the show because he didn't know that it would work. But after the show proved that it had legs and saw some success, it became the Ziegfeld Follies.
It had a lot of legs because there was a lot of showgirls in it.
It was nothing but legs.
It was a veritable centipede full
Very
of legs.
true. Very astute observation there. The Follies continued on until 1913 with a new show every year when the show moved to the New Amsterdam Theater and broadened its scope a bit to include a lot of different types of theater. This is also when the show adopted its Art Nouveau aesthetic that it got so famous for, thanks to designer Joseph Urban. Stars started to get super duper famous through the Follies, including names such as Will Rogers and Fanny Bryce and many, many others.
If you don't know Fanny Bryce, that's Funny Girl.
Yes.
So just in case you didn't know that, that's what that's based on.
And Will Rogers, of course, is Willamania.
From the Will Rogers Follies.
He's got more fans than Amy Semple.
This is a very niche episode.
Which you know only if you know Willamania.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ziegfeld was a huge deal already, and this show rocketed his popularity even higher as he became known for being this benevolent figure, like casting chorus girls in a show that would dazzle all of Broadway and zoom their careers up to the next level. To the public, he was known for treating these Ziegfeld girls and all of his cast members very well, but some cast members did start to get antsy about some things, primarily that if extra shows were scheduled for a week, they weren't getting paid extra to accommodate for the additional work that they were doing.
Oh, okay.
So something else happened in 1913, the same year that the Follies moved to the New Amsterdam Theater. The Actors' Equity Association was founded.
Oh, nice.
There's some trivia for you.
Yeah.
Actors could now join a large and very strong network of performers who could bargain collectively with their employers and make sure they're being treated fairly, not being cut without notice and not having to pay for their own costumes, being paid for rehearsal time, and many, many other issues that are standard today.
Yeah.
But negotiations with producers were going nowhere for the Ziegfeld Follies cast. So, in 1919, a strike was planned.
Strike.
Oh, strike.
Nice.
In fact, Ziegfeld's leading man in the 1919 show was a singer and performer named Eddie Cantor. And Cantor would be carrying the show on stage every night while simultaneously plotting to shut it down from the inside.
He's a little rebel.
It wasn't just the Follies. August 7th, 1919, the casts of 37 different productions across 8 cities walked out and refused to perform.
Ooh, all right.
And Florence Ziegfeld Jr. had a choice. Did he get his actors what they needed and prove that he was the man he said he was? No.
I was going to say, something tells me no, that's not what happened.
He didn't. So what the chorus wanted was extra pay for extra performances.
Right.
But what he said was that he already paid above the normal union pay scale, so he didn't owe a single red cent.
Oh.
Ziegfeld picked the side of management, and he joined the newly formed Producing Managers Association.
Oh.
Because if the actors can have one, then
he needs
the
to have
producers
one
need
too.
to have one too.
Okay, all right.
4 days later, Ziegfeld got an injunction from the court that restrained the Actors' Equity Association from interfering with his shows. And he also got a separate order barring his cast members from striking.
Oh.
Individually. He got
Rude.
injunctions for the
Each individual person.
cast members.
He sounds like a little bit of a petty bitch.
A little bit of a petty so-and-so here.
Okay.
He sued his cast to try to compel them to keep working against their union. And the Ziegfeld girls said, hell no.
Yeah.
And so since they were given this injunction to not work with the Actors' Equity Association, the next day, Ziegfeld's chorus created a new union right there on the spot, the Chorus Equity Association.
Oh, yeah. Get it, girls.
Funded by a $100,000 donation from former chorus girl turned superstar Lillian Russell, who I don't know, but
Oh, yeah.
she had money, and
She was a hot button gal in
she
1919.
she was a hot button gal, I tell you that. So an amazing story from this period. there were strike benefit shows to sort of like raise money for the performers that weren't getting work at the time.
Yeah.
And popular comedian Ed Wynn was going to give a performance, but a different judge issued an injunction specifically barring Wynn from appearing on stage at a strike benefit show on the grounds that he was already under an exclusive contract and couldn't be paid to perform.
Oh, my goodness.
So he had to simply attend the show instead of perform in it. But at the show, when it was his time to go, a spotlight found him in the crowd, and he popped up and he announced that he was forbidden to perform that night. And then he proceeded to say that he had a story in mind to tell if he had been able to perform. And he went on to perform his whole bit standing from his seat in row 3 of the audience.
From the audience. Okay. Also, I love this petty energy.
Yes.
And I love the little loophole. You love a legal loophole.
I love a loophole.
So this episode is full of legal loopholes.
This episode is brought to you by the letter L for loophole.
Love it.
So with these new support systems like the Chorus Equity Association and these benefit shows, the strike was sustained for over 4 weeks. And during that entire time, the Ziegfeld Follies was shuttered. It was dark.
yeah.
There's nobody doing it. Mm-hmm. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
You'd think it would be a huge deal. But the strike ended September 6th with Equity. They did win their recognition and an 8-show-a-week regulation, which was a genuine victory that shapes how Broadway works to this day.
Oh, that's interesting. So we learned that's the origin of the 8 shows a week standard.
Yeah, I mean,
Very cool.
it was standard in some theaters before then, but you know, now there's a rule.
Yep.
Now there's a rule that you get 8
That's
shows
the
a week.
maximum. Yep.
So Ziegfeld has his chorus back, and the company went on to perform the longest run of any Follies edition up to that point with 171 total performances. So in the end, Ziegfeld never really got much comeuppance at all. And you know that Eddie Cantor, the guy who was helping to organize everything, was fired the following year. But he had a lot of success working for the Schuberts, who were Ziegfeld's chief rivals at the time.
Ooh.
The Follies would go on to dominate Broadway until the Depression, which, combined with Ziegfeld's failing health at the time, would eventually lead to the end of the Follies. So, all in all, this strike was a 1-month blip with no lasting damage to Ziegfeld, but it was a real win for the cast and all actors, really, regardless. And Ziegfeld went on to produce Showboat. So,
Oh, yeah.
everyone wins, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? I think I did actually know. That's like a weird bit of trivia that is like ringing a bell in my brain.
Sure,
that
yeah.
Ziegfeld was the producer for Showboat.
We have him to thank.
That's great.
Great. Thanks, Florence. we really needed that one.
All right, it is time for a listener story. This one comes from Steve. Steve says, back in 2012, I was directing a theatrical production at our local high school that I think the 2 hosts of this podcast might be familiar with.
Yes,
It
this is our high school director, Steve.
Yes. It was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. As was common at that time, directors would often share videos of their particular productions with each other. That production was no exception. After about 3 months, I received a call out of the blue from a theater teacher at a Christian school in Texas. She had seen the production online and was calling to inquire as to whether or not I still had the costumes, and if I did, if I would be willing to rent them to her. In our conversations, she was very effusive with the compliments and seemed a bit overwhelmed with the size of her production. As our conversation went on, I wanted to be of more assistance, so I told her that I had all of my materials digitized. I would be happy to share some of my creative materials with her. Just some pictures of the drops that I used, the contact person for the weapons that I used, costume and casting design ideas, things like that. She was very, very appreciative, and that was pretty much where our conversation ended. Fast forward 3 months.
Okay.
I receive a DVD in the mail. I watch it. It's her production. I was very excited to watch and see what she had done with it. When I popped that DVD into my computer, the first thing I noticed was that her opening music choices were identical to mine. Now, this is a play, not a musical. So
Right.
just, this just her opening music for, pre-show, that type of thing. He says, I shrugged it off as it was maybe just a coincidence. But I guess after all great directors borrow from each other. We see particular ways of staging. We see a particular approach to a problematic set piece. We think, oh, that's a great idea. I think I'll steal that.
Very fair, yeah.
That's very normal, right? Choreographers do that kind of thing too, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like when I'm choreographing for a high school or a community production, I'll maybe watch the Broadway production, and if there's stuff about the choreo that's really iconic, like
If
maybe
they do a Ziegfeld circle.
right, like maybe if there's something really iconic, I'll borrow that part of it. Maybe it'll be like a little bit, taken from the real choreography, but I'll usually put my own kind of twist on it.
Yeah, right.
Just like a formation or something. He goes on. However, the lights came up and I saw my costumes, my blocking, my props, my set pieces, my lighting, everything was exactly identical to my production.
Oh, my Lord.
Except for the actors.
Yes.
Just different people
they
swapped into the roles.
They didn't get all of us flown down to Texas to go perform at this production.
It was literally my own production, just with different actors in it.
Wild.
At first, I found myself feeling incredibly angry. But then, as the truth of it all set in, I thought, why would someone do that? Why would somebody pirate exactly down to the very blocking someone else's work? As the director of over 115 shows, over 38 years,
Brag.
one of the most important things to me is being able to let my own creative juices flow and bring to life what my particular vision of a show is. I would have been so happy to help her put her own spin on things. When I shared this story with my girlfriend, she offered me a very interesting perspective. I had been feeling almost violated creatively, but she said, while I think what she did was completely wrong, maybe this other director was just so taken with your show that you could think of it maybe as a kind of tribute.
Sure.
Like that it was really good, and so she just wanted to just do it. She obviously didn't see anything wrong with what she did. She wasn't trying to hide it. She even sent you the DVD. Maybe she thought that you'd be flattered somehow. Maybe she's a new director and didn't have any of her own vision. Maybe she just thought it was a really great production and she didn't see anything that she felt like she needed to change.
This is she's like a cover band. She's playing the hits.
It is exactly like a cover band. Creative infringement completely aside, you really should have been credited in the program.
Yeah, probably.
Which, yeah, absolutely. You can't steal an entire production and not say, like, special thanks.
At least a special thank.
Right?
At the very least.
For literally directing this whole production for me, minus working with my particular students.
Yes.
To this day, he goes on, to this day, I am still perplexed as to why a person would choose to copy someone else's work in its entirety instead of coming up with any of their own ideas. What you really should do is cherry pick particular things, but put your own artistic vision.
What would you do if we found a podcast where somebody was taking the transcript of our podcast
The transcript
and reading it?
and just reread it? Okay, well, that would be really weird to hear because we have a very specific sense of humor.
It's true.
Down
But I think
to like
I would
all of our in-jokes.
I think I would feel the same amount of offended, but also like that would be kind of nice.
I think it would be kind of hilarious, quite frankly, because
if you have a stalker, it means you have a fan.
yeah, well,
At least one.
yes. Well, the way that we do our podcast is like highly off the cuff.
Yeah.
It's mostly conversation.
I'd like to see you try to replicate this podcast.
Right? I just feel like it would sound really weird.
It would sound so bad if you tried. I bet you do terrible.
Are you challenging the trolls out there?
Yeah, trying to.
Okay, earlier on in this show, I definitely put out a call to the trolls that I thought it would be nice if we had at least like one person online, because if you have haters online, it means that like you're sort of well known.
It means you're somebody.
In the podcast world, I should say. I don't just want haters online in my regular life, but in the world of like, a public figure like we are.
Minor public figures. That's very true. Florence Ziegfeld had haters.
Yeah, to be fair, he kind of brought it upon himself.
Yeah. All right, we just need to be meaner to people.
I think maybe that's the answer.
Then they'll make up a dance move called the Amazing Technicolor Shit Show Circle.
Oh.
And it'll be in all of the musicals from now on.
That sounds great.
We're not done. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry for the interruption.
Sorry. The end of this is simply as follows. In closing, I would like to ask the podcast hosts to let their audience know what their characters were that they played in the show and one of the lasting memories that they have from it. And this is, of course, with the exception of the getting hit in the face with a broadsword story that I already told. If you're new to the podcast, in our first episode, I think I told the story of getting hit in the face with a broadsword. That happened during this particular production, which is great. Trev, what was one of your favorite aspects or memories from the show?
I played Mr. Beaver, and it was very fun. It was an incredible time. A cute little accent.
You had really cool prosthetics,
yes.
too. You had a whole prosthetic nose,
face.
A whole prosthetic beaver face.
Yeah, and I was in this little duo with Mrs. Beaver. Mm-hmm. This isn't my favorite part of the show, but what just came to mind was that there's a little part where all of the Pevensey children are, visiting Mr. and Mrs. Beaver, and we prepare them some food, and the way we did that was these small wooden bowls with beef jerky in them. And it was supposed to be like wood chips. And you're like, have a little bowl of wood chips, and everybody gets a little bowl of wood chips, and all of the human children are like, what do we do with these? And they're just like trying to eat the wood chips. But as the shows went on, the beef jerky did get quite stale. So it totally felt like eating wood chips by the end. We were just kind of like gnawing on meat as we were having a conversation.
Oh, that's adorable. I love that. Oh, so cute.
What about you?
Broadsword story completely aside.
Yes.
This show was actually really iconic in my memories because I got to be in a flight rig for this show.
Yeah.
And I got to fly. And
so cool.
Honestly, like the thing I remember more than anything else is like the first time I got to put that rig on and how crazy it felt to be lifted up from your hips,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then, just working on taking off and landing. And it's very much like choreography, which of course, obviously I love choreography. Mm-hmm. So, I just remember it being the coolest thing ever to be in that flight rig. And I would really love a chance to be in another show where I could be in a flight rig. So
make it happen.
Yeah, I really would love to make that happen again someday.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Five.
The Actors Equity Association has done great things. But they have also put together a lot of very, very specific rules and regulations, which I think are none of them seem, totally unnecessary, but some of them seem quite specific in a funny way. And so I would like you to, based on the specificity of these rules and the granular, like the technicalities that exist, I'd like you to suss out if the rules that I'm about to present you are real Actors Equity Association rules or if I made them up.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Actors need a 5-minute break for every 2 hours of rehearsal or a 10-minute break for every 3 hours.
I mean, I guess I'm a little bit... Yeah, that seems fair. That seems like a normal amount of break.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, that seems real.
Well, it's real, but also it's not half enough. Actors need a 5-minute break for every 55 minutes of rehearsal or a 10-minute break every 80 minutes of rehearsal.
Oh, okay. So it was real. It's just it was more time.
Yeah.
Than, okay.
I tried to make it seem.
You tried to pull the wool over my eyes there.
I tried to make it seem like 5-minute break every 55 minutes was like totally unreasonable, but it's not. You know, that does sort of seem like the right level of breakage.
Yeah. So every 55 minutes they get a 5-minute break.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's great. I love that. That's nice. I like that policy. Okay. Also, now I've realized that you're going to be very specific and nitty gritty and into the weeds with all of this. So now I'm prepared for your level of nitpicking. I'm ready now.
Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Dressing rooms must be heated if the outside temperature is below 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay. I would think that they would have to be heated possibly if the outside temperature is maybe even higher than that. There needs to be the option of heating it because 60 is a little chilly.
It is.
I'm going to say I don't
I
think
never want to see a day that's under 60 degrees.
Giving a real heat miser moment. I'm going to say I think that might be not the correct temperature.
That is the correct temperature.
Oh my gosh, okay.
We got some chilly actors in New York. I think probably a lot of 60-degree days.
Yeah. Got to put a sweater on backstage, I guess.
All right. You ready for this one? Training rehearsals for new understudies are not allowed the day after a scheduled day off, unless the day off falls on a Monday, in which case the special rehearsal may start as early as 7:00 p.m. on Tuesday or earlier if the cast unanimously votes in a secret ballot vote to rehearse at an earlier time.
This seems unnecessarily wordy. I'm not sure why you would make something like that up. Given that the rest of these rules felt very normal, that one was very wordy. I'm going to say I think that must be real.
Yeah, it is real.
Okay.
I just thought it was so funny. I'm sure there's a reason for all the different parts of it, but I don't get it.
Very specific. Okay.
I don't understand.
Yep. All right.
All right, another one. Dressing rooms must be furnished with hot water and an assortment of tea bags and honey.
No, I don't think that's a requirement.
No,
I think
it's not.
there's a lot. I think most people in most professional productions, you get like a broom closet, and that's your dressing room.
Yep, you're right. This is actually from a specific contract writer that I found that also requires fresh fruit, orange juice, apple juice, and chocolate croissants.
Oh, that's very cute, and I love that rider that they have.
Love that rider for you.
Love that journey for them, but nope, I know that is not the standard.
All right, last one. Actors may use their own costumes if they wish.
I don't actually think so. I don't think they can use their own costumes. I think they have to be specific because I think if some sort of wardrobe malfunction or whatever happens, I think they have to be able to like point to exactly, what happened and all of that. I think it's a weird legality, but I do not think they can wear their own clothes.
Weird legality. It is, you are incorrect, but it is very interesting. There's a little loophole. There's an itemized price list for renting an actor's own wardrobe. So there are different equity rule books for different regions, but usually they spell out per item rates if a production uses an actor's like personal clothing or a wig or whatever. It's like $7 for a top coat or jacket. Like $6 for a wig and
is this
and
per
headpiece.
per performance or like
I don't know. I think it is
generally
per performance, I guess.
Okay.
But there's a specific amount that you would get compensated for your item in the show.
Okay. So like if I had a really, really good jacket, like a really beautiful jacket, the best jacket, and they were like, yeah, we need to do that. I could potentially make like $20 more per show by just like having the best jacket in town.
This is my money jacket.
Yeah. I wear this jacket for all my shows so that I can rake in the big bucks.
On that scale, $7 per a show doesn't seem like enough.
Oh, but 8 shows a week, baby.
8 shows a week. We're doing
that
some
adds
multiplication today.
That adds up quick. We're looking at, what, $56?
Yeah, times
Did
tables.
I math that right? 56.
Probably.
7
52.
times 8. 56.
Damn it. Yeah.
You know what? It's been a while. But just off the top of my head, I can tell you that $50 a week extra is pretty good.
That's not too shabby.
That's not too bad. That shit adds up. $200 extra a month just for bringing your own coat.
Wow, you did that in your head?
And it's late.
It is. We are killing it.
Well, that is our show for today. Thank you so much for listening. Send us your theater-related stories. We want to hear mishaps, fumbles, any kind of story you can think
And
of.
follies.
And follies from onstage, offstage, the pit, tech, watching the show from the audience. Send those stories to amazingtechnikolershow@gmail.com or visit our website, amazingtechnikolershow.com. If you like what you hear, give us a good review on whatever podcast app you use. And of course, tell your friends about us. And if you don't like what you hear, tell your enemies about us. And we're going to make up a bunch of weird rules for their workplace. Piano accompaniment was provided by Paul Thelen, and our stage manager is Daniel Schneider. Thank you again so much for listening, and whatever it is you're up to, be it on stage, off stage, or in your life, break a leg.
Amazing Technicolor Shit Show.